I grew up in the mountains. I grew up in a really small town up in the mountains, greenery everywhere. My dad had a huge garden. When I moved to Texas, I love everything about Texas, but it's not very pretty, at least not in North Texas, not where we're at. So I started bringing in some of those plants that I grew up with into our home. And so that's kind of how my whole plant background started. I didn't know what I was missing until I moved here and was missing it. So after I started bringing plants into the home, I started photographing them and putting them on Instagram, and people would reach out to me and be like, do you sell these plants, or can you sell me a cutting of this plant? At first I was pretty reluctant, but eventually, I do have somewhat of an entrepreneurial mindset and spirit, and so kind of went for it. We started out doing farmers markets and online sales for like Facebook, doing Facebook Lives and selling plants and whatnot, which is still part of what we do. My wife Erika and I, we would take our shelves and we would pack everything up into the van. It was an adventure. We had a great adventure. But eventually we kind of stabilized and we were growing out of our house. We had plants lined up all over in the hallways, in the kids' bedrooms, in our bedroom, in the living room, on the kitchen counter, on the dining room table. And so we really needed a space to grow, and that's where Famous in Oregon came by. We had to find a retail shop to put all of our inventory and our plants. Starting a business during COVID actually seemed a lot scarier than it was. What's funny and not so funny was that we signed the lease on this building, and then a week later, everything shut down. And we were like doing renovations, we had all this money into it, and we were pretty scared. We kind of joked that like either we're doomed or like this is gonna be the best thing ever. And I mean, luckily for us, obviously, a lot of people were spending more time at their home and they wanted to beautify their in-home offices. They realized that, hey, if I'm gonna be spending so much time here, I wanna make sure it feels right, it looks good and all that kind of a thing. So when you're at home and you have nothing else to do, you're quarantined, you start to slow down a little bit and you start to think about what's important. And you start to think about what is the feeling that I want to bring into my home? How do I want my home to look, even though nobody's coming over? We want to make sure that we enjoy the home as well. So when you're taking care of plants, it's not one of those things that you can get the benefits from reading about it or seeing it online or reading about it in a magazine. It's one of those things where you've got to get your hands dirty. You've got to care for the plant. You have to remember to water it and trim it and give it the right light, give it the care that it needs. And that's really where the benefit comes into. I mean, you don't experience the reward without the effort, right? And it's just one of those things that you have to have a plant to experience it. Everybody that has a bunch of plants or some plants in their office or their bedroom or their home or whatever it is, they know what I'm talking about when I talk about that feeling that you get when you come into a plant shop or when you come into a home that's filled with plants. I mean, every single day we get people coming into the store and they stop right when they come in and they just go, wow. So there's something about it, and it's not something that when they're surrounded by plants, they know what that is, even if they can't describe it, it just feels right.